I am currently in Canggu, Bali. Our guest today is the owner of Soma Fight Club, the head coach, a proud Polynesian. I introduce to you Mike Ikilei.
If you don't know, I'm trying to get him over here.
Mum, I'm not coming home. What made you move to Indonesia?
We actually moved to Thailand first. I wasted so much money. No one knows the story.
Have you always felt like you were destined to do something great with your life?
I've always felt like you could never break me. When it's getting hard and gets really uncomfortable, you got to have the ability to suck it in and go for it.
Sacrifice, time, commitment, hard work, dedication. 60 days until open.
Got me with that, cuz.
Oh.
The whole purpose for building this gym here in Bali is because it saved my life.
Do you think our children have a chance to be children in the next 10 years?
It's a deep question because of
Kia ora whanau, welcome back to another episode of The Martin Show. As you can see, I am not in the studio today. I am currently in Canggu, Bali. That's right. I'm in Bali. My inner child's going crazy right now. I'll tell you that for free. But I'm on holiday, but I'm still going to get the mahi in with some beautiful guests. Our guest today is a business owner. This man is the owner of Soma Fight Club, the head coach of Soma Fight Club, a proud Polynesian. I introduce to you Mike Ikilei.
Ooh, nice to meet you, Zach.
Nice to meet you too, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Bro, welcome to the show, but thank you for allowing me into your space, into your staple, into your gym.
Nice. It's sick to have you. You know, we were just having the chat earlier, but yeah, it's really good to have you here.
Yeah.
And I think, it's nice to see young men like yourself coming out, you know, and then doing something good, you know, and doing something good for the people and stuff. So
yeah,
good to be here.
Nah, brother, like I told you, like we were just saying, it just felt like I was home.
Yeah.
Still feels like I'm home.
Yeah, it's good. You are home.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think it's not meant to feel like home. It's meant to be home, and that's the big thing for us here. Is that, you know, like I was saying to you, I see you in the ring, like who's this young Australian? And then I get to start talking. Whoa. The only problem is you're Westie. But we can sort that out. We can deal with that. We can deal with that, you know.
Well, it's crazy, bro, because we are in Bali. How long have you been in Bali for?
Oh, coming up to 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so 7 years in Bali now.
Yeah.
I left home and holy shit, this might be the anniversary of when I left. I think I left October 2018. Wow. October 2018. Damn, I didn't even realize it. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even realize it, but this is like the 7th year anniversary, I think.
You live here, but when people ask you where you're from, where is home for you, brother?
East Auckland, brother.
Ooh,
I'm an East Auckland boy from GI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Raised in East Auckland. Did a bit of stint in South Auckland, but yeah.
East boy, yeah.
East is where my heart's at.
Everyone knows where's that.
None of that Westies. None of you Westies, bro.
Oh, aroha, man. So what made you, I guess, move from home? What made you move to Indonesia?
Yeah, I guess we actually moved to Thailand first.
Oh, wow.
I had a gym at home. I had a partner at the time. She was fighting. And then we just kind of got to this point where it was like, man, let's just kind of pack up. A lot for her as well, you know, like she wanted to fight and it was a good chance to kind of head to Asia, mainly Phuket to fight. I went with my mate, Victor Mitchkov, of One King in the Ring once, and he took me to this like tarot card reader. No one knows the story, to be honest.
Yeah.
I only tell this story to a few people.
Let's go.
And she read like this crazy stuff, and it just started a whole traction and a whole traction of events that just led me to here. Yeah. You know, and like I said, like if you told me 8 years ago, I'd be sitting here with you in a place like this, I would think you're the most craziest person in the world, you know?
Wow.
And then, moved to Phuket. Wasn't that friendly, you know what I mean? Phuket can be a little bit isolating. No one really kind of connects or vibes together. And you know what we're like connection is such a big part of who we are.
Huge, brother.
And I didn't mind it so much, but yeah, it just kind of got to this point. So Bali MMA reached out to me, asked me to come over to coach through this fighter Ev Ting, who was fighting one championship and stuff. He messaged them. He said, hey, there's a coach going over. You should holler at him. I got over here and then just fell in love with like the people, the culture, the vibe. And then, yeah, started off one of the craziest journeys I've ever had. So,
yeah, wow.
Here we go,
Well, that feeling that you'll have 3 days in and I'm having the same feeling now.
Hey, if you don't know, I'm trying to get him over here. Everyone don't know that. We just spent half an hour trying to convince him to come.
Yeah. Well, brother, that leads on. So you went to Phuket, did you have a plan going there or were you kind of just like taking it as it comes? Or?
Nah, you know, like, you don't really like, you can't really plan this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Asia's so like different than New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like there is no plan, bro. Like, yeah, you did. But in that plan, I wasted so much money. I just, any cash that I had accrued, I just spent it because you make the wrong choices, wrong decisions. Like we had spent a year for our visas in Phuket. We had like put down a lease for a whole year. And in like 1 week we decided like, oh, we're going to move to Bali. And so, everything that I'd spent in Phuket to set up a lifestyle, this is a waste of time. I just, but you got to go through those lessons. And I learned like out here, and I was saying to you, that everything kind of just happens for a reason. Everything will just fall naturally in place here.
Yeah.
You just got to have trust and faith in yourself to go like, for whatever life will deal to me, I can go through that.
Yeah.
And once you do that, man, you just ride that wave, You just go, yeah, cool. You catch the next one and you catch the next one and you catch the next one. You might fall off one, you catch the next one. And yeah, it's so funny. Like New Zealand, you plan everything. I plan how my life's going to go and this is going to be like this. And, I'm going to have this and this is the car I'm going to drive. And then you get here and you got like your little shitty scooter and then you like don't really like have to dress up so much. And it's just, yeah, you learn a lot.
You do, brother.
Yeah, you learn a lot out here and you learn a lot about yourself. But yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
We were just having that kōrero about change, I guess. And I feel like for a lot of us, we crave change, if we're...
Do we though? It's a good question.
We
might.
I feel like we do, but I feel like we don't act on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do. And I think that's the issue. I think we love the concept of change.
Yeah.
But when it starts to happen to us, we all just go like, actually, nah, I'm good.
And that's it, brother. That's the part I want to touch on is it's actually up to us if we want to make that change. Here's us having that kōrero about certain things that could happen, certain changes that could happen. And especially being an Aotearoa, like we are so lucky, to be able to, if we want to, we can change things. Some certain countries and this and that, obviously 100%. A little bit different, but if you're from Aotearoa, if you want change, if you're not too happy in your situation, you have the ability to make that happen.
Like, without saying like a dick, I travel to all different parts of the world for what we do, yeah? I've seen like countries all around. And then you recognize on, firstly, how lucky we are. Like we are lucky and we come from a beautiful place. But we come from such a structured, world that's set up for us never to fail. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like at home, I would never hit rock bottom because nothing in my surroundings will allow me to. Family, friends, the government, the way in which we do our whole stuff. I'm not saying that we should move away from it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it creates like this sentiment in our head that we truly we don't lose as much as we need to lose. So we stay in this like really safe environment and we don't have to. And so when I travel to places like India, and then some like poor parts of like Myanmar and just other parts in the world, and you see what they have to play with, and then you realize like, damn, if they fall so far. Yeah, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're talking like for a small amount, they will fall so far. And yet here we are, change for us is like, I'm going to change job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Move out of this relationship.
I'm gonna move out of my relationship. And they're big and I'm not like belittling it. But Jesus, like some of the other stuff you see face, like, bro, I just had an African fighter turn up yesterday. Yeah. I have this chat with him. And then I talked to him and he goes, I know I can be champion one day. I said, look, we're UFC champion. I have this chat with so many people. But he's like, coach, like my dad got diabetes, blind. My mum don't work. This is all we have. Like, this is all we got. And like, you know, he's a young fighter. He got big reps on him. But you understand at that moment that what he fights for is like something way different than what we could comprehend. Yeah, brother. You know what I mean?
Completely different baseline.
Different place. And so when I look at him, I know what he's about to do. I know that this kid is going to storm the world because the anchor that ropes him back into where he needs to draw mana from will change the way in which he will fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, you see a lot and we are comfortable at home.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. They hate me. I'm just saying that, you know, from my experience, you know, it does push us into a different realm when we leave. And that's what I was saying to you.
Yeah, brother.
You know, like you can stay at home. We can be comfortable. We can do all these things, but we might be just putting barriers on ourselves about what we could do with our life. If you close your eyes, jumped off that cliff and went for it, you know?
Wow.
8 years ago, I made that decision. I swear like that was like the craziest but best decision that I've had for a long, long time.
Well, we'll have another kórero off camera about ins and outs because my whānau is probably watching and they're probably like, hey.
Fams, I'm working on them. Give me 12 minutes, I got this.
Oh, well, brother, I want to go back to your earlier years. How would you describe your upbringing in the early days in East Auckland?
I come from a good family, like, you know, like a good Polynesian family. You know, my grandma, I was raised by my dad and my grandma. They were the one, you know, there were like large periods of my life where life was violent and, you know, there's a level of where you start to like, it's funny because I never talked about it because, you know, I never wanted to dishonor anyone in my family because everyone loved me, you know, whatever happened, everyone loved me who was around me. So, like growing up, there's a lot of violence and stuff around me and to me. And so you grow up in a world that's like very different when I grew older than what everyone else knew. It wasn't until I had a daughter that my life, I always say that my daughter saved my life.
Wow.
And it was the first real change in my life that I looked at and I was like, man, I want a better world for where she is. So my journey from that was when she was born was to see, it sounds cliche and I get it, you know, but my line was I wanted to leave the world in a better place for her than when I entered it. And my world, I never wanted my world for what she could live, you know. And so,
her experience that.
I never wanted to experience the violence and like, you know, those other parts of life. So that was my mission in life, you know. It was really easy. My mission was super easy.
Yeah.
Raise this child real differently than what I had. And as long as I did that, I could die a happy man.
Well, I feel like you're the type of man that is a mentor, a role model for many individuals, men and women probably across the world. And I feel like you've probably been that man for a long time. Did you have anyone that you could go to, that you could look up to, especially in your developing years? I
guess what I learned to do was really appreciate, you know, amongst all the violence and amongst all the like street stuff and everything like that, I grew an appreciation for those who were around me. You know what I mean? Like I'm a real boy's boy, you know, so I'm terrible with relationships, brother, with women. I'm terrible. But a lot of it is because I've been raised by men, you know what I mean? Like whether they were like my dad or but my grandma was there. She was always my shining light, you know, but nearly all of my life it's been like real male dominated, you know what I mean? And I learned to become really good with like taking direction from other men because, you know, one of my favorite sayings is that if service is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's one of my favorite sayings because it says, for many years, bro, I would follow the voices of other guys, you know, like, Mike, we need to do this. I got you, we'll go. You know what I mean?
Wow,
Like, we do this. I got you, we'll go. And that sense of service, that sense of serviceship, like really taught me to say, man, I knew what the value was of just keeping my mouth quiet and then following the direction of another person.
Yeah.
If I believed in that vision, I believed where that person was going, I'm coming with you.
Wow.
Like I got your back and I'll go.
Brother.
And I really learned my leadership from strong role models in my life that were like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had that on the streets. And then when I started to do other parts of my life, I had that in those parts of my life. And when I started to train under the likes of like Jason Sadi, I had that leadership, like, you know, in droves. And that leadership drove my leadership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those men formed who I am today.
Wow.
And my grandma is by far the biggest influence of all of them. But, you know, I was lucky to have all those. But yeah, I reckon the fact that you can just serve creates an innate part of you that will lead you better, you know?
Yeah. Well, but I feel like for someone to have reached the level of success that you've reached, you have to have a certain amount of grit. I would use the word fire. Have you always felt that you've possessed this fire? Have you always felt like you were destined to do something great with your life?
I think I've always felt like you could never break me.
Wow.
That was the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, like it's hard to be, you know, where we are and think that there's something greater for you. Like that's just not the way that we're designed to think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
So, but what I always say, everyone, I don't have much talent in my life. Like I'm not naturally talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've got like this huge resolve and grit around working hard. And I think a lot of it comes from my dad. My dad just worked, like he crazy, just worked. You know, like he would just leave us at home for like 8 hours of the day, you know, and Dad would leave me at 6 a.m. I'd not see the man till like midnight. You know what I mean? So we raised ourselves, but I knew the value of hard work. So I got this uncanny skill of being able to wake up every single day and no matter if I'm under fire or so much pressure or anything like that, that like I will wake up that day and go, you can bring it. You can bring all of it and I'll sort it right now. You know what I mean? And I think that fire comes from one, from being Polynesian, two, from having those people in my life that like looked at me like, man, don't let anything break you. And then, so it's weird because my motivation doesn't come from, there's the greatness there. My motivation really comes from, you can't break a man like me. You even try to do that, like you can load more on top of me and I'll keep going. Yeah, but it's a blessing and a curse.
The word that comes to my mind is potential. And I feel like for a lot of, particularly young fellas, what frustrates me is a lot of them don't realize the amount of potential that they have. And I feel like you would experience this way more beyond me. I've noticed it on a small scale, but would you agree with that?
I agree with it. Like, I don't know. I always tease like guys downstairs, like, you bunch of TikTokers and YouTubers, and you like, you know, I think in some ways people are missing a bit of grit these days. I do and I don't, because there's some people that walk in here and they go, oh man, the person's got the grit. Like it's damn. Yeah. But I guess I experience a lot more people that don't. We live in such a fast changing society where everything and all information is just on your phone. Yeah. Access to the world is off your phone. Yeah. So the ability for us to stay in hard moments just becomes less, you know? It's like we got such a mentality today that like something happens, I'm going to change. Yeah. So it's weird because we talked about change. And I agree with change and action to change. I think there's like this overboard of it, you know, these days. It's like, I just want to like, I don't like this and I'm going to change. Like, but I get change and I love change. But not liking something isn't a reason to change it. Yeah, bro. Sometimes what you don't like is good for you.
Helps you, yeah.
Bro, it grows you.
Yeah, man.
So if I'm in something and I know it's good for me, then you should stay in it. But today, they know it's good for them. They won't stay in it so hard because it's like, well, I can change. And it's like, well, should you though? Wow. Should you really change? It's like fighters, bruv. You know, Hakadai came to us, 0-2. People would say, give up fighting, do something different. And I say to them, kids, stay here and we'll restorm the world. You know, we had another fighter come on a 4-fight losing streak. Everyone told him to quit. And he one more fight away from winning $100,000. Wow. You know, and becoming the PFL MENA champ. Like, bro, if we listened to everybody else that says like, oh, it's a little hard, just change, we'll never get anywhere. Yeah. You know, and I find that a lot these days.
Nah, I'm starting to realize that too a little bit, particularly with young fellas. Yeah. Might be a bit of a hypocrite. Which is
weird because I was talking you into change.
Yeah.
But it's not just change for change's sake. It's just saying like, you know, like you can hear people talk. You know, there's a thing called congruence, like what people say and what they do. And if they don't line up, it's out of congruence. So you want to line the two things up together.
100%.
But in order to get here, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I was saying to you the other day, if you got people around you like us who can make that life easier, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Where would I be if I didn't even try? Yeah. You know? Yeah, cool, man. Like I would have still had my life and this and that. But there were days that I was waking up back at home and I was just like, oh, it wasn't hard. It was just like, here I go again.
Yeah, bro.
I'm going to do this again.
Yeah, man.
It's okay. I'll do it. But there got to be something else out of this. It was no longer challenging me, you know?
No fire, no purpose, all those words you can use, Yeah. Well, what do you think, bro? What do you think men in general, we'll go men in general in society today, what do you think that we lack and what do we need to work on as a collective?
You can see on how hard the whole like masculinity stuff swings back and forward. I'm from a very different era where, you know, like you kept your mouth quiet, you put your head down and you worked. I'm not saying that's the way, but I think sometimes we swung so much to the other side that, you know, now we talk too much and don't work hard enough. You know what I mean? Bro. I think there's a balance in the middle. Ooh. Like, you know, there's the reality of this that, you know, like a lot of young men fall into depression and a lot of young men and like, man, will try to attempt to get out of it all, you know. So there is an important part of listening to people and being able to walk them through that journey. But at the same time, we need to also look at how we can become more resilient. Yeah. So that when life does challenge us, it doesn't shake so hard. You know what I mean? I think these days, I think we've gone away from that a little bit. Yeah. It's like fighters these days. So a good comparison is like fighters, Fighters when I was training under Jason, like, holy damn, you ain't messing with no Jason Suddy. Like, yeah. So Jason had this thing. If I walked in 6:03, I walk into the gym. I know the time because traffic, Auckland traffic gets us every time. Jason, it was the traffic. It wasn't our fault. So I get into the gym at 6:03. I walk past. We call it the Jason's death stare. Jason's looking at us, you know, because it's 6:03. Class started at 6. He goes to me, Mike. Yes, Jason. Remember, me and Jason are super tight. Even if we're super tight, this is still happening. Mike, what class are you doing? It's a trick question, cuz. It's a trick question. He's not asking what class. He's saying, it's 6:03. Don't you have the disrespect to come into my class at 6:03? My answer is very simple. Jace, I'm doing the next class. I'm going to watch all my friends. Like, well, I'm looking like shame. I'm going to watch all the boys looking at me, but hey, I sit down. The class, an hour and a half class, that class. Yeah, wow. I sit down for 1 hour, 27 minutes in that chair, just do nothing and just watch. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, bro. But it taught me, man. It taught me that discipline was so key and cornerstone, not just to martial arts, but to life. Wow. You know, you're a boxer, yeah? There's a saying that we always say, the lessons that you learn in boxing and in the ring and in your training is the lessons that you'll take in your life. Yeah, brother. You know, and I fundamentally believe that. Jason Suddy doesn't go 6:03, don't you come into my class? Brother, I'm going to sit here for 1 hour, 27 minutes. just watch life go by. And then I'll come into the next class ready and early.
Yeah.
At 7:29, I'm ready with my run. So, I mean, I think we don't have enough of that. So these days I get fighters that will just come in. They think they deserve pads from a coach.
Yeah.
Coaches never padded us. All the boys padded each other. We looked after each other. Like, man, we would do stupid stuff. Yeah, we would train 4 or 5 hours a day. I get here, people are like, oh my God. But if I don't, my periodization and my I've been coaching for a long time. I understand all the sciences of the game. I do. Oh, you shouldn't run. We should do HIIT trainings. But everyone forgets the mental aspect of all those sorts of things. You know what coaches like Jason, all of them taught us? They taught us that, man, when it's getting hard and gets really uncomfortable, you got to have the ability to suck it in and go for it.
Yeah.
Fighting is 80% mental.
Yeah.
You got to have the mental aptitude to tap into that physical response that you have in your body.
Yeah.
You need to have the mental aptitude to do that.
Yeah, brother.
So if you have gone and listened to all the science and done it all the scientific way, you've potentially missed the whole part of the sport. You know, you remember those like Shaolin monk movies and shit where people will go up and down with but there's a purpose for it, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, it needs to be hard. You need to make things hard so that mentally you look and you can go, I can get through that.
Yeah, brother.
And that, I think, is a good example of what the rest of what we're talking about is,
Well, it correlates back to what you were saying as well. When people stop combat, whatever sort of combat it may be, because they feel like it's hard, they end up going down even further into the rabbit hole because that hard thing is actually what keeps them, keeps their baseline going.
100%.
I don't know if I stop training, same as you. If you stop, brother, I'll be going down. 100%. I wouldn't be able to operate like this.
We started Soma. On that premise. The whole purpose of building this gym here in Bali is because it saved my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it saved my life, think about what it could do for everyone else's life. It doesn't have to save everybody's life.
Yeah.
But out of this, if we save some lives, help some people, get people from all around the world, like we got people from all over the world.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you, Africans, Indians, Australians, the team built up of Indonesians, of like countries that I never even grew up around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that I'd never even met. They're in our room every single day, training together. It's the most beautiful sight. I'm just like, damn, this is what I get to wake up to.
Yeah, bro.
People ask me why I walk back into these doors so happy every morning. Bro, what else would I be doing?
Well, let's go to the birth of Soma. And correct me if I'm wrong, you opened the gym during COVID?
Yeah, through COVID.
Wow. Yeah, what was that like?
COVID here, so a lot of people don't understand what COVID here was like. The whole world shut down, yeah? There's a few places in the world, like tropical places in the world that were good. Us, Tulum, and Portugal.
Wow, okay.
That was like the little triangle.
Yeah.
The rest of the world had closed down, Sweden and that, but Europe didn't count really. Yes, Portugal's in Europe, but it was hot. So what happened was everyone flooded to those 3 areas. Everyone who could work remotely, like yourself, flooded to these like small spots in the world because they let us kind of like continue with life while the rest of the world was going wild.
Wow.
So, there was a small period of time where they closed down the gyms and stuff like that, but we were still like riding around and doing our thing and meeting up with each other, and we could still go eat out and, do what we needed to do.
Yeah.
So it closed. I was still at Bali MMA. And then a whole bunch of stuff happened in my life. And then I had really good friends like walked in. I had my good mate Adam came in. I had two good mate Adams actually. They came in. They both really challenged me and said like, mate, you could do more with your life than just be stuck in here. When I was at Bali MMA. And I liked them, trust me, I wanted to stay and everything like that. They were good guys, And then it just got to this place where I was like, let me try and figure out what I do with my life, And so, I made a decision to move across. The first guy that I had trained ever in Bali as like a PT client, he was a good mate of mine, Adam, and he'd always gone to me like, bro, let's open up a gym together. Let's open up a gym. And I ended up opening with that guy, Adam McCasey, big restaurateur here, you know, big businessman here.
Yeah.
I did it with him because he was the first guy that ever asked me.
Wow.
I'm a loyal guy, yeah. You asked
bro.
me. And plus, he knew I was a little bit crazy, knew what I was like, and I really liked him. And then what I liked about him the most was his values in life. Yeah. He cared about people, and he always wanted people to be treated really well.
Yeah.
And that's what really like made me align with him really nicely. And I was like, yeah, man, let's kind of like do this.
Yeah, bro. Relatable values.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And you know, like it wasn't always rosy with me and him because we got clashing ideas. He's a big personality. I'm a big personality.
Yeah.
But man, he's a guy that I look up to, and then I really respect, and I'm kind of really thankful that I got a man like him that was there. You know, like I said to you, I've just always been lucky to have really good people in my life that have helped me to see further. Yeah. And then my other best mate, Adam, he really encouraged me to go out and go, like, he's like, bro, you can do this. We got this. I got you. And I'm like, all right, brother.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my lib mate. He's a good dude.
Well, when you think about the journey, the Soma journey from the COVID times until now, what are sort of like the feelings and emotions that come up when you look back?
If I could describe to you the last 3 years, probably my most learning period, because it taught me a lot about myself and about the way that relationships work with people.
Yeah, wow.
Where we're from, guys like me and you, Zach, there's a different code amongst us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what you say, we do. If we're in the trenches together, we're in the trenches together. Yeah. In this last 3 years, there were moments where like guys that I brought alongside of me didn't have those same values.
Wow.
You know, I won't go into it, but it taught me a lot about people and where to place people. You know what I mean? There's another saying that, you know, you place people where they belong.
Wow.
And it's a very hard lesson for Polynesians because we tend to open our arms and embrace everybody as if they were all the same. And it was a hard lesson, but a good one, is that those who rode with me, and those that didn't. And I wasn't used to or prepared for it the way that I thought.
I've quoted something that you've written down, and I just want to know. It's titled 60 Days Until Open.
Damn.
Yeah, brother. I did my research.
Yeah, you did your research. Oof.
It takes sacrifice, being away from family, friends, things you love. Takes time, hard work, dedication, more hard work, sacrifice, time, and more time. This is the longest period of time ever I've gone and not seen my Bubba. And for what, you might ask? So that one day I can look back with my people and say, we did that. We made a difference somewhere. And that she might be proud of what we did. To try to take the burden and guilt off from me, not being with her now. And best believe I'd do anything to make her believe that I will sacrifice time, commitment, hard work, dedication. 60 days until open.
Oof. Got me with that, cuz.
Oh. I don't know my brother, son, my bro.
Got me with that.
Yeah, no,
yeah, you got me with that one.
And my question was literally, well, how does that make you feel hearing that,
you
brother?
see how
Yeah.
You know, that's what I mean by the way we are as people. You know? I think it's okay to cry.
Brother.
It's okay to cry about certain things, you know, for our kids. I mean, yeah, you can see how it made me feel. Made me feel emotional. Damn. Because I wrote that with emotion.
Yeah, brother.
You know what I mean?
I felt it when I was reading it. So
it's funny. People always go to me like, Mike, man, you write really well. But I tell you why. It's because I just write from my heart. I think sometimes we trick the system in saying, you know, like we're here to do it for our family and for this and that. And that was written because I sacrificed. So, you know, I always say my daughter's number one in my life. But in some parts, if that statement's purely truthful, I would have stayed in New Zealand. You know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
I would have stayed there. So there's guilt there that says that when I packed, there was a sacrifice I knew. Now, on the flip side of that, it was like, I was at a crossroads and do I settle for the mortgage, get a house, leave her a house, and that will be my legacy to her? Or was I going to go and do something that I could leave her? You know what I mean? What if I left her the legacy of Soma for her?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A share in this company goes to this child.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
A piece of my heart goes to this child. House was never going to be my heart. And so that was the risk that I took when I left home. That was the guilt that I carried when I took that journey. But like I told you, a man like me doesn't know quit and doesn't know when to stop.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother.
In this, you know, a good example is in this past kind of 3-4 years, the amount of people I've lost around me makes me understand the fragility of life, that my clock is going to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
my clock's going to close up soon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like whether that's tomorrow, whether that's in 10 years, whether it's in 20, there's nothing I can do to stop this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because the people that I lost and I didn't know that they were going. So then what they taught me was like, man, I could blink and I could all be gone. So every moment that I have, I will use to try and better what we have here at Soma, because one day I'm not going to be part of this anymore. So before that happens, I'm going to ride this until it, you know, to the sunset.
Yeah.
I think through all the good and the bad, that's why I like my business partners and those people that love me around me, is that for all the good and the bad, they understand that I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
And so we stay on this track because they're like, yeah, we're good. Like they know that they can look at me and rely on me. You know what I mean? Yeah, we might not do good in some part, but they'll go, it's okay, I got you. And I'll keep going, you know, because that one got me.
Yeah,
so that's what that was. I wanted to leave her a legacy and a part of me that wasn't some, you know, brick and mortar house in East Auckland. That yes, it would have helped her, but it wouldn't have inspired her.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother.
And so, yeah, I guess my whole goal in life is that she would look up at me and be proud of me.
And I've got another one more business related, because I know that there'll be.
Well, that's good. Get me out of my teeth.
Yeah, no, I got you, brother. I got you. Oh no, I'm proud of you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. It was honest. You've created a movement. You like to call it a real movement. It's more than a gym. It's more than a business. It's a real movement, and that stuck with me too. And as you were talking about, Zach, I love this fire that you have and this and that, because I want to create a real movement. There'll be people out
100%.
there that are wanting to create something that's bigger than just
100%.
a business, a brand, or whatever, you know, something. What piece of advice would you have for us in regards to that, and things for us to think about when creating a real movement?
Yeah, I guess, you know, the best way to relate is like when I look at you and I talk to you, because it's very similar to when I see young fighters turn up and they sit there in front of me. When I see young Polynesians turn up and they want to do things and stuff in front of me, it's the same thing. When I said to you, you don't have to speech with everyone because not everybody's ready, cuz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Like I said, you turn up and you got your lights and you got your cameras and you bought this on what was meant to be a holiday. You know what I mean? Then I know that you're not just wanting to just make up the numbers. You're wanting to do something different in your life. And so, you know, is it advice? Advice, one thing, bro, but action's everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's why when I talk to a man like you, I'm not here to offer you advice. I'm here to offer you real action.
Wow.
You want to do it? Cuz I got your back. These guys, we all got your back. Why? Because we did it for them as well.
Yeah.
They know what it's like to like start off from itself. And then I offer that back. It's not advice. None of this is advice. It's real action.
Yeah.
You make a decision right now. Make a decision. You know what I mean? You don't have to do it right now.
Yeah.
But make a decision.
Wow.
And when you make that decision, you take it with both hands and you go with it. And we'll be there to help you through. Why? Because we understand where you come from and we'll do everything we can for you to get there. Too many people offer advice, Jack. Too many people offer advice.
Yeah.
Not enough people offer the opportunity to pull the trigger.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother.
And when we talk about Soma being a movement, it was not about just teaching. I had this chat with someone last night. It's not about teaching people boxing or Muay Thai or anything like that. It was building this big global community that could say, it, I will change the world and I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother.
Some people in there, this person sitting on this chair may had the worst day of her life yesterday, and today she comes in and our goal is to make her walk out of here and go, yeah, we had 2 Indian fighters that we sent to the UFC. First times ever, we got the first win for India and the UFC. India, 1.6 billion country, 1.6 billion people, bro.
Wow.
This little gym in Indonesia, man, it got India its first win in the biggest combat sport organization in the world. When no one says it can do it. Like, you want to know what advice I give? Anyone tells you that you can't do something, you can. But it's going to take more than you ever bargained for.
Yeah, brother.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
But you got to find people that are going to help you get to that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother.
Advice is one thing. Action, relationships, that's everything else. You do that, the rest will follow. Yeah. That's what I offer.
Yeah, brother.
I don't offer advice for everyone that walks in, sits in this chair.
Yeah.
Has this chat with me. I don't offer advice, bro.
Yeah.
I offer the door to help you get from here to here, and I'll do everything I can to help you.
Oh. Yeah. Mum, I'm not coming home.
He'll be okay. He'll be safe though, Mum. He'll be safe. We'll look after him. Yeah.
But outside of Mahi, outside of training, outside of Soma, what else gives you peace, fills your cup, all those sorts of things?
I mean, at the moment, bro, everything is about this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had a chat with one of my staff, wanted to open up something for themselves. And then they were like, yeah, I just wanted to have time for doing these other things in my life. I laughed. I was like, brother, if this little journey will teach you is that it will take everything from you. And, most entrepreneurs will tell you the same thing, the sleepless nights, the amount of mahi that you need to do, the way in which you live your life. Like, bro, it is not a 9 to 5. It's not a 6-day a week. It is every waking moment that you have.
Yeah.
This thing will consume your life, but in some ridiculous way, it's meant to.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, brother.
Because if you can't have the ability to do that, then you don't have the ability to build something as big as what it should be.
Yeah. And that was what my brother and I struggled with in the earlier stages, because we were like, first month we go, man, we haven't cracked anything. Second month we go, wow, we haven't cracked anything. And now we're like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months in, whatever. And now it's okay.
It's just okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
100%.
We're okay with, and we're just like, but the first 3 months we're like, hey, why is it not getting this many? It's the overnight success is a fraud. And it's just, bro. I want the long game now. I want the long game.
You start to crave it.
Yeah, bro.
You start to wake up. It becomes a challenge.
It is, and it's more like, how can we? Yeah, how do we keep getting better? Just keep getting better.
Because you constantly wake up in this constant wake up and 400. Look at my phone, 400 issues. Here we go again, team. And you might be in there for 6 months. I remember there was a point when. There's a big changeover here in the gym. And for 9 months, there was no let up, bro. There was no let up. There was no success stories in that 9 months. Yeah, and we just rode that 9 months whoa. But the fact that we did it together and, I'd look at my best mate and then look at my business partners and I'll just be like, we're in it again. But the fact they looked at me and goes, yeah, cuz, we go again.
Yeah.
We go again. We go again. Like you say, you work up those 3 months and it's still the same. So.
Well, brother, we talked about the work-ons for men in general. What about for you personally, bro? What are some things that you feel like you need to work on?
Oh, probably 4,000 different things, brother. I mean, I think for myself, is there's this ever growing journey, you know what I mean, in my head. I guess for me, it's how to make sure, bro, I said, when I said to you that the hard work and the grind stuff, it's a blessing and a curse. because what it can do, it can alienate people around you because I'm so fixated and so like dogged on stuff that sometimes, you know, that other stuff around, you know, I can not see.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Bro.
The small things that matter to some people, I might not be aware of. And a lot of the time is because I'm just in this constant, like, I got to grind. And so, you know, one of the biggest parts of me is like to figure out where in that I create some space and time to make sure that those that are around me are still alongside of me. There is the challenge of when you run fast that you might outrun like your team as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can burn my team. And there are moments, there are real moments in the past 3 years where I burnt my team out because while I have this drive, it's not a natural thing for a lot of people. And, you know, I could end up pulling them too fast and too hard. And it's something I need to tailor back in, you know?
Yeah. Would you say you're proud of the man that you are today, the man that you've built?
I get if people, I'm a weird being, yeah. It's never really like, people come and they'll say, Mike, you do amazing, do this. And I really don't need other people's praises in my head because it's not what I sought out to do. So I don't need other people's praises and I don't need to say to myself, oh, I'm proud of myself for a certain amount of thing. I think in my life, I have a mission to get something done and I'm going to get it done. Do you know what I mean? It's not about pride in getting it done because I think it just needs to be done in a really high quality and I need to just get it done. So because of that, I don't feel the need for self-praise or for saying to myself, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, wow.
Because at the end of the day, when I die, hopefully I get lit up into heaven. Yeah. But, you know, that's when it will all come to fruition. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah, when I close my eyes for the very last time, that will be the moment and where I'll probably get to take that last breath and go, I done all I could, you know, and yeah, I guess for that I'm proud.
Future Mike, 5-10 years.
Hopefully not dead.
Anything with Soma? Any other future goals or?
One of the coolest things I ever see. We've only been 3 years running. People from all around the world, people in LA, Russia. A mate in Russia go, bro, check this. Sends me a video. This guy with a Soma t-shirt on in Russia sends it back to me. A mate in LA goes, bro, just walk past me. A girl was just in Portugal. She goes, oh my God, I just saw one of your t-shirts. Yeah. People like every week send me something, bro. 5 or 10 years, just more of that. Like the amount of people we've touched, the amount of noise we've made, the amount of nations that are proud of us for helping us get their people to somewhere else. Yeah. Like, cause just more of it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, brother. My business partner will say more money.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Sorry. And that, you know? Like,
yeah. And that too.
That as well. But ultimately, bro, like, you know, the funny thing, I joke about that with him, but he never jumped on that ride. He goes, thank God I didn't jump on this ride for that. I was like, laugh over here, bro. But yeah, bruv. The more we can make noise in this, I always say to everyone, yeah, we come from such a small place in the world. Guys, we're only like 5 million people.
Yeah.
Whittle that down to the amount of Polynesians that we do well. Whittle that down to the fact how Polynesians are treated in New Zealand. Like, you know this.
Yeah.
You know, the system, the society, they don't look after us. No. They judge us. I don't care what people tell me. I know I lived it.
Yeah.
And I look and I say, look at me, these other like young New Zealanders like in here. Look at us storming this world. Like, man, like what can we do if we came from that and we can like make a global impact? Like, man, what an amazing feat for the next fight. I just want more of it.
Wow.
When you walked in the door, like, here's another one.
Yeah.
Let me get this one. Yeah. I'm going to get this one to to this movement, we carry on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why I have this chat to you, Zach. I don't have this chat with everyone. I don't waste my time or my energy having this chat with any Tom, Dick, and Harry. But, you know, you come in, you have this, I can feel there's something in you. I'm going to try and get it out of you.
Yeah, brother.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I appreciate this a lot. I know that many other people that are watching this will be appreciating this as well.
Yeah.
My final question for you, brother, is your younger self. Any age you want, that young boy, East Auckland, what's the one thing you'd want to say to him, bro?
A lot of times when I was young, I was lost. You know what I mean? Like I said, you just were so really unsure. I guess the only thing I would say is that everything would be all right. Everything going to be okay. I think we get so big in like trying to have these big like motivational talks to people. Yeah. And I think as simple as just going to someone and saying, putting your arm around them and just saying, you know what, man, like as bad and as hard as it might be right now, everything will be okay. I can promise you that. And they will go, no, it's this. But you know, the ability just to say to myself, if I were to see myself and say, nah, in those deep moments just to go, it'll be okay. Yeah. Get through this part, it'll be okay. Life will do what it does and you'll get through that next stage. And then in some place, you'll see the beauty of it all again. And then we can keep going. Mike, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where the previous guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who he or she is. Oh, damn. The question for you today, brother. Do you think our children have a chance to be children in the next 10 years? Boy, that's a deep, you know why it's a deep question? It's a deep question because of the background we're in, yeah? So we're in the world, building world champions. They might come in the form of a 26-year-old African guy, you know, headed for big things. That also might come in an 8-year-old child doing, you know, training downstairs and parents that are like, I've got the next John Jones. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in my world where we are in here, we've done so well at taking away what children have in their life to make these like athletes. So why I'm saying is very different question. Like that question wouldn't have impact and meaning in this particular aspect if it wasn't myself. I talk about my little fighter Rosella, she will agree with you. Yeah. We got Oscar Remihana and stuff in here. We took those kids when they were like 10 and 11, yeah? Wow. And as much as we might say that we helped them to become world champs and all these sorts of things and become the best in the world, bro, we stole some of their childhood away from them. Wow. They had birthdays and we made them diet. There's no birthday cakes for them. Yeah. Some of them didn't. Bro, did they achieve stuff? They achieved stuff. Can they be proud of it? Of course they can. But we as adults and coaches, in some sense, have to take responsibility that we did starve these kids. Yeah. I did. Bro, I'm not going to say anyone else did. I did. I starved these kids from some of their childhood. So it's crazy because that question that you gave to me is a very different question on how anyone else could answer it. Yeah, brother. You know what I mean? Such an interesting perspective. Because I've been responsible for taking away kids' childhoods just so that I could look at them one day and say, oh, you're world champ though. Yeah, you're so good. Look what you did. Look what you did. But I'm the same guy that deals with the aftermath of that. Yeah. When they look at me and they say, yeah, thanks, Mike. Like, that's cool, but I didn't have a childhood. I have a bunch of kids in here that say that to me about me. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. So your question to the outside world, I don't know. Yeah. To the inside world, yeah. I'm responsible for taking childhood away from these kids to grow the best version of martial artists in the world. Would I do it again, brother? I'll tell you, I'll do the whole thing differently. Yeah. You know what I mean? Wow. My advice, we talk about advice, I would say to parents and to let your kids be for a little bit. Let them play. Bro, I train world champions. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, I should be more than qualified to be able to tell parents of kids with young athletes, like, let your kids be kids for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, brother.
Don't take away their childhood just because we think that they could get to somewhere else, because they can. Give them to me at 18.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Burn them out at 12.
Let them love the sport now.
Yeah.
Give them to me at 18. Let me be the in their life when they're 18. Don't let me be that person to them now anymore. You know what I mean? So I've really changed my perspective around childhood. It's crazy you ask that question.
Yeah, bro.
Because my answer will be very different than anyone, because I'm a person that took that away from others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. And willingly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's only wisdom that makes me look back. Does it help them now? Not necessarily, bro. Does it help them as young fighters? If anything, I've had to really encourage them to come back to the sport.
Yeah.
Ask yourself this. You see all those YouTube videos of all these young kids that were, doing all this pad work and everything like that. Bro, how many of those kids now?
Yeah.
Where are those kids now?
Burned out too young.
Burned out, bruv. You don't see them in the rings and that, Old King Ryan is but look at him.
Yeah.
Look what we did as a world to that kid when we watched him doing all pad work with his dad, 14 years old in their garage. And look at him now, man. Ryan Garcia mentally isn't the same kid, but we created that.
Yeah, wow. Such a unique perspective, Mike.
If anything, let our kids be kids, bruv. Let them be kids. You want them to be high-performing athletes? Man, let them love it right now. Give them to us at 18, and then we'll storm the world. And I promise you we can storm the world from that age. But starting them at like so young and walking in with them and saying, oh, this is the next Conor McGregor. This is what all parents do. Like, my child is the next. No, your child's not, brother.
Yeah.
Your child's not. They're going to hit 17 and at 18 they realize you're not going to tell them what to do anymore. And they're going to eat cake, and they're going to go with their friends, and they're going to enjoy their life.
Wow.
And they're gonna do everything that you didn't expect them to do.
Yeah.
But that's because we created that.
Mike Ikilei, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here, brother. Any final words?
No final words, bro. Talk long enough. I think, I guess anyone that's here in Bali, you come from home, come and see us, man. Like, that's the biggest thing for us.
Yeah, brother.
You felt it. Like, when we see someone, the young Aussie kid, but when we see someone from home, bro, it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You walk in, make sure you come and say, hey, guys, I'm from home, and you'll see all our arms open.
Aroha immediately. Where can the people find you, brother? And
From
the place.
here in Bali.
You personally and Soma.
You can find me here too. You can find me here as well. So we're here at Soma Fight Club.
Yeah.
Right in the heart of Canggu. Canggu is at the moment the hottest area in Bali. But yeah, you can find all of us here.
Yeah.
You come to here, you find all of us here. You'll find me here.
Personal Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, you can find me at The Fighters Coach. But really, I mean, once you're here, you see my ugly mug all over the damn thing. So, my man.
All right, team, that is another episode of The Martin Show done and dusted. If you have made it this far, please hit the subscribe button. Give the _The Martin Show a follow, and we'll be back next week with another episode, another Bali edition. Mom, I love you. I'm not coming home. Well, thanks, team.